have much to add with the exception that this did present an opportunity for me to share some additional new information, and you inspired me as well. And you inspired me. And you inspired me. You inspired me.
I knew it.
Bog Panda.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bog Panda. I am Dr. Mike at Official Pagan on everything, and joining me as always.
Hi, everybody. This is Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram. And we greatly appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to the Bog Panda YouTube channel, maybe giving a few of our videos a like. Love to hear your comments. Subscribe would be awesome. And then while you're moseying around there, check out our website, which provides an easy to get to link to our vastly growing merch, our t-shirt store. Take a look at that. So many things you can do after enjoying this video.
Absolutely. You guys are naked without it. So tonight, we've been talking a little bit more about C64 related stuff. Kelly has always been more of an Amiga guy, if I'm right on that. Yep. Now, were you a Commodore user at all for the Commodore 64?
Not 64 at all. I jumped generations on the Commodore. I had experience with the Commodore PET, which looked like a kind of the way a computer would look on Star Trek at the time. So kind of a pyramidal kind of monitor on the top that was vastly undersized to the box underneath it. And I believe it stored its material on cassette tape. And so I was very familiar with the PET, did some work on that. And then over time, next time I returned to Commodore, it was going all in on the Amiga.
Very nice. Well, I'm pretty new to the Amiga. You kind of introduced me to it, but it's been a lot of fun kind of delving into all that. What kind of got me interested, particularly in the retro computer gaming thing, though, is when they did the Commodore 64 Mini, which back when we were doing just more of a straight recommendation thing, I had recommended that before we had delved into retro games the way that we have now. And now, since we've been doing the retro gaming thing, we've had some C64 stuff. I showed you guys, I was playing my C64 on the At Games Legends Mini, which is pretty cool, and some other stuff that we have in the works there. One of the things that kind of, I remember Commodore 64, I didn't really use it as a kid. And then I had friends who were into it in the 90s, but I didn't really get the appeal until much later. Looking into it, like games on cassette tapes and things like that, that really intrigued me. And then we had actually spoken before about a band that hit a program on their vinyl record.
Yeah, which I'm still murky on. So I'm really going to enjoy this show because I still haven't turned the corner on this concept, but today's the day. So I'm looking forward to having a full
one
grasp.
of the things and this is one of the things that's really intrigued me with the C64 and why I've delved so deep into it, particularly in recent months. I got the C64, the full size from Retro Games Limited, who put out the Mini and are putting out the Amiga Mini shortly. I got the full-size one with the built-in keyboard, which is great if you're trying to delve into, you can, of course, attach a USB keyboard to your Mini or any emulators that you're using for BASIC and things like that, but nearly all of the keys on the Commodore 64 have special characters on the sides of them, so you need those when programming in BASIC, and it's going to be hard to pull out a reference sheet that you're constantly going back and forth to. It makes it much easier having the actual Commodore 64 keyboard there. While I was delving into this, though, of course, any Netflix fans out there, Black Mirror, are you a Black Mirror guy, sir?
I am, except, I highly recommend it to everybody. However, the first episode, it's a jarring introduction to the world of Black Mirror. It's a rough initial ride. So I recommend, and the individual that had recommended I watch it told me repeatedly, start on episode 2, and I didn't listen, and I watched episode 1, and I still carry the scars to this day.
I have to be honest with you. If I didn't watch episode 1 first, I might not have watched the show.
I'm not surprised. So,
because it was one of those things where that really hooked me, and I was like, all right, I'm watching this show. But they did their interactive movie for Netflix, Bandersnatch, and that had a ton of Commodore 64 stuff in there. And they hid a program in the movie. There's some tones that play, and if you record that and play it back on the Commodore 64 tape loader, that will open a program on your C64. So there's a lot of it. Even now, just seems like bizarre, weird black magic to me that happens on the Commodore 64, from the crazy programming in the Ghostbusters game that, you know, saves your bank statements and everything in your inventory so that you can move to another person's computer and copy of the game pre-internet and still carry all your stats and things over to games hidden on vinyl records and even in modern movies. Nonsense that makes no sense to me. And there's more. So there is a music artist that I came across on YouTube who has released a game on their vinyl. It's called We Are Stardust. And I sent the link to the video over to Kelly. Now, did you get a chance to check out the game?
I haven't yet. No.
Okay. So I am not, the artist is LukHash, who I'm not that familiar with. The game looks really interesting, though. It's a simple sort of run and dodge objects kind of game. But again, going back to this black magic of people putting Commodore 64 programs on apparently anything that makes any kind of noise that you can put it into. So I think that's where my fascination as an adult with the Commodore 64 really comes in, is this idea that there's Commodore 64 programs on anything as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'd love to see them put a game on an 8-track so that you could be like running down the hallway and then all of a sudden it stops and it goes king and it backs you up just a little bit, and then you kind of continue back on forward when it does the track change in the 8-track. That was always a magical moment for me, was mid-song 8-track switches. And so
yes, it does. I'll have to talk to my 8-track guy and see if that's possible.
Bog Panda will be releasing all of its software on 8-track.
So. On 8-track. For anybody who doesn't know, I've released 2 8-tracks during the pandemic, so it's a thing. There's one guy who makes them. So
and three people that can play them. So
yeah, there's 2 more who can listen. But I'm really curious. I do want to play this game. This game looks really cool. And what's really impressive, and it's sort of a mini game, and it's just something that's stuck on the end of their vinyl of their album. But the game looks honestly incredible. And so for anybody who doesn't know, there's a huge indie and homebrew, strong going market for C64 to this day. There are constantly new games coming out for it, from the most basic, simplistic things like Kelly's going to punch you in the face like Chuck Garrick, to really, really impressive games. A recent one that I played is a game called Soulless that looks like early 16-bit games. Looks like stuff that shouldn't be possible on the C64. And this really looks a step above that. And again, very small game, but they went all out on the visuals and a lot of the tricks that they're using that this video delves into. It's really impressive stuff for the hardware.
Yeah, and for those of you watching this video, and for Mike, when he watches this video for the first time, we'll see if we've yet. I'm working to eventually, we've introduced our mascot, G. Mike lies a lot. All that'll be edited. It'll come out smooth the first time. But he may become the mechanism that we keep track of Mike's lies in the show. But you'll see how far I got with that. If we're going with the traditional route, don't worry, I'll still keep you posted. By the way, we're at 1 for this episode, so continue, sir.
But that lie is not Kelly will punch you in the face like Chuck Garrick, because that game exists. I shared the code for it in a previous episode, so go check it out. Type those bunch of lines of nonsense into BASIC, and you can play that game. You guess a number, and if it's the number Kelly's thinking of, he tells you you're lucky. If it's not, he tells you he's going to punch you in the face like Chuck Garrick.
Yeah. Moving on.
Real game for the C64 exists. I made it.
Check our website out. Another game there, much more accurate.
So as a Amiga guy, was there any of this kind of stuff going on in the Amiga?
So not really, not in terms of like different media to do it. A lot of the kind of Amiga expansion was just, you had things like the video toaster, and so this was like some of the first you could start to do kind of higher end video stuff at home without having to have ridiculously priced equipment. And so it was Amiga's kind of eruption into the video space and what you could do in terms of chroma keying and overlays and animation and all of that. And so that was a space. The media stayed kind of the media in terms of how things got into it. Of course, they went to see, you know, they brought a CD based kind of Amiga platform in late in the lifestyle there of Amiga, but they didn't do it's odd too because it's all Commodore. Why there wasn't more, but I think it was probably more because Amiga, you know, never had the tape media and those types of things. It was always floppies to go in until later with CDs and etc. So
very interesting. Well, we'll keep you guys posted if we come across any more of this cool stuff. It's again super intriguing to me because it's essentially magic as far as I'm concerned.
yeah.
And I understand how this stuff works. It's just amazing to me that it worked back in the year I was born.
Yeah, it's people have been doing this for a while. It is really cool, and apparently not a lost art. So it's back happening again.
Yeah, no, it's really cool that this stuff is happening. Hoping, you know, who knows, maybe we can get it on an 8-track for you guys.
Yeah, it'll be a special treat. And so those two people out there, when you're done listening to Rust Belt,
It's gonna knock it down to one person. You can actually access this.
yeah, because now they got to have an 8-track and probably C64. And so
track, C64, the tape recorder for it.
We're really kind of narrow casting at this point. So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll be back.
Thanks, everybody.